If you want to cut right to the recipe, the timestamp is right there, but I'm also just going to talk about pawpaws because I'm a nerd and I like pawpaws a lot. The pawpaw is a fruit that's beloved throughout Appalachia and the southern Midwest by both indigenous and post-contact cultures. I love them, and my parents and my grandparents grew up eating them, and they are absolutely delicious. They taste like a combination of a mango and a banana, and they're super soft. And the only issue is that you can only get them in the woods or maybe at a farmer's market. They don't sell them in stores, and also the growing season is pretty short. It's only a couple months. Apparently the reason that you can't buy them in stores is because they don't ripen once they're off the vine. But this is what I've read online, and this is what I've heard a lot of places. But my grandma, who is from Appalachia, like in the mountains of Kentucky, Harlan County, she swears that they'll ripen after they're off the vine, and like she eats them like when she's picked them and waits a while. I don't know, maybe she's eating rotten pawpaws. Maybe she's right. I mean, it's like knowledge from your elders, you know? I'm gonna go with her on this, I don't know. And the other day when I had the first pawpaw I found of the season, it was absolutely delicious, and I knew I had to figure out some way to preserve that flavor to where I could taste it throughout the year. So that's where this idea came in, and today I'm going to be making a pawpaw syrup. Alright, now in order to make this pawpaw syrup, you're going to need sugar, water, and obviously you're going to need pawpaws. Now, pawpaws are so easy to find, and they are everywhere if you live in Appalachia or the southern Midwest, but if you live anywhere else, you're pretty much out of luck. If you want to buy pawpaws, you're probably going to have to go to a farmer's market, and even then, probably a farmer's market in Appalachia or the southern Midwest. Anywhere else, I don't think they would have them. I've heard from a chef that I know that actually in New York City, they're used in some pretty fancy dishes. So that's cool. Usually when pawpaws are ripe, they have large black spots or are black entirely. But these are green, they're from pretty early in the season, but you can tell that they are ripe because they're soft, and if you push your thumb in, it'll leave an imprint there. See that? You're going to need 3 parts sugar, 2 parts water, and 1 part pawpaw pulp. But the exact amounts that I'm using are 1 cup of sugar, 2/3 a cup of water, and 1/3 a cup of pawpaw pulp. If the pawpaw is ripe, then you can just split it open like this, and then take out all the guts with a spoon. The pawpaws have got seeds, but you can just take those out, get the flesh off them. Delicious. It could stand to be a little more ripe. When they're completely ripe, they're a little bit more yellow, but I wanted to make this early in the season so that you all would have enough time to make it yourself. Getting the pawpaw pulp out isn't too hard. Just after you split it open, do what I'm doing, scoop it out with a spoon, and make sure you're getting those seeds separated. I'm putting them on a paper towel to save for later because I want to plant them, but just make sure that you're getting the seeds separated and getting everything into a measuring cup. Now you just have to mash it all up. I'm doing my best to mash it up with one hand while holding the camera in the other, but you should be able to just do it with a fork, but if you want to be really thorough, you can use a blender. And now when you've got a pot on the oven at low heat, add in your cup of water, and then you can put in your 2/3 cup of sugar, and then most importantly, the 1/3 cup of pawpaw pulp. Now you want to keep on stirring so nothing burns, and just wait until it gets a little bit thicker. And most importantly, taste as you go along, because if it goes on for too long, then you're just going to lose that pawpaw flavor. So every now and then taste, and as the pawpaw flavor gets more intense, once it reaches a level that you like, that's when you should probably stop. And once you get it to a taste and consistency you're satisfied with, all you have to do is strain it into a container. And I like to use this syrup to just mix into water, and it becomes like just a nice pawpaw beverage. But you can also use it for cocktails, like something mixing it with an old-fashioned. That would be amazing. Well, it's a week later, and I realized while editing that I didn't have an end of the video, so here's the end of the video. And I have Pawpaws now. It's a bit later in the season. They're ripe. I just didn't want to make a second video, but yeah, that's a bit more yellow, and that's a bit more the shade that you're going to want it to be. Let me get that more into the light. That's more the shade that you want it to be, but if it's a little lighter shade of yellow like mine were, it'll still work just fine.